Welcome to the Tamworth FC Social, a podcast all about Tamworth Football Club. I'm Jonathan and I'm joined by Brett and Graham to discuss the Lambs' final match of September and the club's FA Cup draw. We'll also look ahead to the matches against FC Halifax Town and Gateshead. So before the Altrincham game, Brett, Tamworth could have jumped into the top half of the table with a win, but it wasn't to be, was it, in the end?
It wasn't to be, which is a shame because you'd think obviously home advantage after the last three games that we've had, would have got something out of that game, and I was really confident going into it as well that we would have. Altrincham have been up and down and had a shaky start to the season compared to where they finished last year, so I thought they were probably there for the taking, really. I read that someone likened it to Altrincham last season, where they basically beat us at our own game, and I think it was very much a case of that, unfortunately.
Felt like the goals that Tamworth conceded were quite avoidable. Like, for the first one, Fairlamb tries just to take one touch too many. With hindsight, it's very easy to say, but he could just clear it when he's got a player sort of behind him. And then the second goal, it's just like the marking. The free kick goes into the box, and then there's two Altrincham players who get into so much space. But then I suppose it doesn't take away from the fact that on the whole, September, Graham, has been extremely positive and a massive step forward for Tamworth in the season.
Yeah, I guess just going on back on that Altrincham game, I think they almost nullified our threats a little bit. We were definitely in the game, all the way to the end. I guess it's just one of those days. Yeah, I think overall, what a great September. Those 3 wins on the trot. Can't really complain, about that. The thing is, and I think I thought this last season as well, is that when we have to win games in the big moments, and I remember it happened at Scunthorpe last season and a couple of other times, with the big games, we always step up. And this was our first big moments of the season. Teams around us that we need to beat. We're not necessarily on paper going to be beating the likes of a Barnet or a York, but if we do, we do. But with the game against Maidenhead and Braintree and Fylde, those were games we needed to win, really, and we have done. And we did say we take 4 points from the Braintree and the Fylde game, but I think we've once again stepped up and shown in those big moments that we can get results. So really successful September. I'd say probably couldn't really get any better unless we'd have got those 3 points on Saturday, and that would have been amazing because we'd have probably been on the table now. But we can't win them all, I guess. So pleased with that.
Good for Creaney to get another goal as well, because I think Tamworth probably will need a few attacking players who can get on the score sheet, albeit only a consolation this time. But, Dan Creaney is someone historically who has scored a lot of goals for Tamworth, Brett.
What's also pleasing as well is it's 3 really, really late goals as well. And that's more pleasing for me because obviously being part-time, for me coming into the season, I was worried about our fitness right at the end and that costing us, and watching us against Sutton at home, first game of the season, York as well, and probably Hartlepool. It's probably those first 3 games where you'd look at the team after probably 80, 85 minutes and they looked absolutely knackered because they're giving it their all, not because they're unfit or anything else like that. Then I was really worried about how they would be able to, hack it for the full 90 minutes against the teams that are training full time. But 3 goals after the dead of the game just poo-poos that worry, really. So, but for Creaney to get on the score sheet, it's probably really important as well, while we've got this run of cup games coming up as well, because they're just a bit of a different kind of game, a bit more of an edge about them as well, probably games that suit Creaney that little bit more as well. So it's good for him to try and get some confidence going through October and into November, just as you start getting into Christmas and the business end of the season. So fair play to him.
Those 3 wins in September as well almost feel a little bit like a rite of passage for this season. Like you were saying, Graham, there was an element of pressure from us, at least, whether they felt it inside the camp at Tamworth. But those are games really they had to win because there are harder games on paper on the horizon, and they've done it. We are speaking after the FA Cup fourth qualifying round draw has been made, and it is Macclesfield at home for Tamworth. I think, Brett, your initial reaction was this is actually going to be quite a hard game.
Yeah, obviously they lost out on the promotion playoffs last season. Yeah, they're a good team. They've got some good players. They're top of the Northern Premier. Some good teams in the Northern Premier as well that actually, if you look, that they're well placed against. It's probably not the league that it was 3 or 4 years ago, for example, but there's still some good teams in there. They're a big club, good following, they've got money. Robbie Savage is their manager, so you take away that celebrity status of him, he's still obviously got a fantastic footballing brain, tactically astute, modern, forward thinking, and he'll be up for it. You got the added little bit that, he played for the Blues for so long. That'll add a little bit of taste to the game as well, because there was plenty of Blues fans who are in the Tamworth supporters groups. So I think that's going to be really, really tough, because that's probably the closest, other than Bury, who we could have got, that you're going to get to probably playing an ex-league club before we get to, if we get to the actual Football League.
Got a dream, haven't you? Also, as well, Wayne Rooney's younger brother John amongst Macclesfield's squad as well. So that's an extra sort of celeb factor, if we can call it that as well. Looking at the league table for the Northern Premier League as well. So Macclesfield top, they've scored 21 goals, which is a pretty sizable number this early in the season. But then second place Worksop have scored 28. So clearly some attacking football going on 2 steps below the National League. That's for sure.
They're gonna be tough. I think it's as tough a draw as we could possibly get, to be honest. Team right
really
high at the top of the league. Yeah, I think just playing a team at the top of the league, two divisions below. I mean, it's kind of like they've got nothing to lose, but at the same time, they've got all this backing behind them. They've got some extremely good players. I just think, it's a tough draw. I'm glad we're at home because I think there'll be a big crowd there. They'll bring a good following. Robbie Savage will get plenty of stick. So I think it will be a good day out. But I think it will be a tough game. I think we'll get through it because we're at home. But I'd say it's almost very, it's probably a similar sort of obstacle to be playing a National League side, really. Especially, I think they're full time, aren't
they? Yeah.
So it's So it's going to be a tough game for us, I would say. They're on the up as well. So yeah, I think it's as tough as what we could have got, really. If we'd got like a mid-table Conference North side, that's less glamorous but more straightforward. But yeah, if we get through it, then that's be an excellent win, really.
I think the other thing as well with Macclesfield, if they get through, you just know there's going to be a massive media train behind them and Robbie Savage, so they'll be thinking about that as well.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get a few cameras at the Lamb for this one.
Look forward to being on the BBC documentary, picking my nose in the shed or something.
My initial thought when the draw came out was like this has the feel of like a bit of media attention about it because of the Macclesfield story, because their manager is very high profile. I do wonder, like, I don't actually know what sort of TV exposure you get in terms of live games at this stage, whether it's beyond like iPlayer, red button sort of territory or not.
Yeah, I think they do the iPlayer.
Yeah. Nuneaton Lichfield was on the iPlayer the other year.
I mean, this to me would be an obvious candidate for that. I mean, I hate to say it, but you could see an upset in inverted commas happening because of how good Macclesfield are.
Yeah, it's a pretty attractive tie on paper, I would say. And like you say, it's got the upset written all over it. But yeah, let's see if the BBC are attracted to it.
I'm just looking at the fixtures now. We probably are the standout tie. The only other one that's even probably remotely interesting maybe is Plymouth Parkway and Worthing. All the others are just bog standard draws.
Macclesfield's got that Wrexham factor though, hasn't it? I guess with like the celebrity.
Yeah.
It is another double game week coming up for Tamworth. First up is Halifax away, followed by Gateshead at home on the Tuesday night. Two, on paper for me, quite tricky games. These are two teams who finished in the top 7 of the National League last season, but FC Halifax Town drew 2-2 at home to Wealdstone on Saturday, and it took them a 90th minute equaliser to get a point out of that. And this is a Gateshead team who only a few weeks ago did get thumped 7-1 at Dagenham. So clutching at straws, perhaps. But Graham, how are you feeling?
Two difficult fixtures just going into it. Yeah, it's Halifax, very well established National League side. They obviously had a good season last season. They've started the season okay, not kind of blowing teams away or anything. They're sitting in 11th at the moment, so they're 3 points above us. So yeah, I think when you look at it like that, we've had a reasonable start to the season now. So I think we can go there with confidence. Obviously, they had quite a lucky result on Saturday, coming back and getting that draw. So I think we've got to go there with confidence and put the Altrincham result aside. And yeah, we've won 3 on the bounce away, so why not go to Halifax and do the same thing? I think there'll be goals in the game as well. They've conceded almost as many as they've scored. So yeah, we've got to go there with a bit of confidence. I think Gateshead at home, yeah, even tougher really. All I would say is we're at home, so Wolves got a chance when we're at home. But yeah, I mean, they're third in the table. Aside from that 7-1 thrashing against Dagenham, you hear a lot about Gateshead being a really good footballing side, best footballing side in the league, all of those things. So I think it'll be really interesting to come up against Tamworth, and you know how we set about ourselves with being organised and direct and all of those things that you know Tamworth are, and kind of different contrasts in style. So, but yeah, again, well established National League club. Yeah, I think both very, very tough games on paper, but I can see us getting some points.
I think Halifax is the more winnable one of the two, but I think we've got a pretty terrible record at the Shay. I certainly remember going there and getting absolutely tanked once.
I think I remember this quite well, our first ever win in the conference was 3-1 against Halifax.
I believe I found all the previous meetings, and in August 2003, which would have been the first year in the conference, Tamworth won 2-1 away at Halifax.
Oh, there you go, then Graham were on.
And then actually won the next 2 after that. And then it was only until the 5th meeting where Tamworth lost 4-0. So that might be the tanking you remember, Brett. In September 2005, Tamworth lost 4-0.
Oh, yes, then, yeah. It will be interesting to see how we fare. It's another big club. It could go either way because, well, as we said, they just about got a result against Wealdstone. They've been a little bit stop-start as well, a bit like Altrincham. And I feel like after what we've done away the last 2 games, I think we'll probably go into with a bit of confidence knowing that we've travelled well. So it'd be interesting to see what the lineup would be. I think from how Peaks was wording his post-match interview from the weekend against Altrincham, I think there's a good chance that he's probably going to start with Creaney. So that'll be interesting to see. Out of the 2, I think Halifax is the more winnable one. But then again, you've got Gateshead at home. It's a Tuesday night. It's a long way for them to come. Plastic pitch. Yeah, they do play good football. score a lot of goals as well. Defensively, very good. Good outfit, nice club, good set of supporters. We have a decent record against Gateshead as well. So who knows? We could get 2 wins, get win or a draw. Could lose them both. I think they could both really go either way.
They are hard ones to predict, aren't they? And does strike a little bit of fear into me that only one team has scored more goals this season in the National League than Gateshead. Pretty much 2 goals a game, as they've got 22 in 11 matches, which is pretty formidable. Right then, let's turn to our predictions. And this might be quite interesting, given what we've just said about not being too sure how these are going to pan out. So, in our predictions mini league, 1 point for a correct result, 3 points for a correct scoreline. Before the Altrincham game, Brett went for a win. Graham and I both went for a draw, so no points for any of us, as that obviously was a defeat. That means I stay on 12 points, Graham's on 8, and Brett's on 6. So I will start for Halifax Town. So I'm going to say a 2-1 defeat. I'm anticipating a very tight game, but I'm not saying this in any confidence. I think it could be any result here, but I'm going to say a 2-1 defeat. Brett, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I am going to go for a 1-0 win. I've got a feeling we could get a really early goal and then just sit back, basing on absolutely nothing, considering the fact that we scored 3 very late goals. But I've just got a feeling.
Graham, what about you?
I genuinely don't have a clue for this game. Really don't have an inkling. So I might do something ridiculous. Why not? Because sometimes it works out. I might say we're going to win 3-1. That's a completely ridiculous result. I'm just going to go for it. 3-1 to Tamworth. That's just off the top of my head because I really don't know for this game. I think it's very similar to Altrincham in the fact where we are, and I went for a 1-1 on that, and I just think, well, no, I'm just going to just go a bit different, go 3-1. I think it's very optimistic, but we'll see.
Dare I say it, that would be something of a statement win if that came off, given Halifax have conceded less than a goal a game so far. So to get 3 on their home patch would be pretty good.
I don't know why I've said that.
You're locked in now, I'm afraid, Graham. No changing now. Would you like to go first for Gateshead then, Graham?
Yeah, sure. I think I'm going to go for a 2-2 on that. Being optimistic again.
I have also gone 2-2, so I think I see your thinking there. I mean, when you take away the 7 goals that Gateshead conceded at Dagenham, their goals conceded is really good. Like it's well below a goal a game, so they are very good at both ends of the pitch. I have a funny feeling this might be another late goal by Tamworth. I'm sort of more confident about this one than Halifax somehow.
It's probably because we're at home.
Yeah.
I think at home, under the lights, Tuesday night, Gateshead have got a long away trip. Don't know if they do an overnight stay or whatever, but yeah, it's just something. I think it will just be a good game all round.
What about you, Brett? What are you going for?
Well, I'm going to go for a 2-0 defeat. And that's the first time I've predicted a loss this season, but I just think they're going to score a goal either side of the break. It can sometimes be a bit hard to generate a good crowd and atmosphere in games like this. They aren't going to bring loads because of how far it is. If the weather doesn't get any better, it's going to be cold, wet. Yeah, I think you're probably going to be looking at about 900 people there, if you're lucky. Very hard to kind of generate any real kind of momentum or atmosphere throughout the game in them kind of games. So I just think that will be a really, really tough ask for us. They're a good team, really good.
I feel like you've just put a bit of a realism spin on that, Brett, from me and John being really optimistic and me talking about under the lights, and I think you've put some nice non-league realism there.
Let's not forget though, Gateshead did lose 2 games on the trot not so long ago. They're not invincible.
Yeah.
They will surely lose more games this season, and why not on Tuesday?
Yeah, why not?
Saying that as I've gone for 2-2 draw, but you know what I mean.
Why not draw a game?
Right, then we'll leave it there for this episode of the Tamworth FC Social podcast. Thank you very much for listening. You can follow us on social media at TFC Social Pod. If you enjoy the podcast, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and give this episode a like. It really helps us grow our audience. Until next time, goodbye.